Titan Lost Girls Volume 2, which tells the story of Mikease before they all went over to the scout regiment and she was living with Eren. Now, when we last left off, Eren had just gotten his butt kicked, and Mikease saved him. When she got him back to his home, she promised that she wouldn't tell anyone what had happened. The next morning, as the sun begins to rise, Eren wakes up to see Mikease sitting by his bed, falling asleep from waiting to see if he'll be okay. A few moments later, Eren's mother tells Mikease that she's sorry that she didn't get to have much fun when she walked all the way out here. Should she go get Eren for her? Mikease tells her it's alright, he's probably sleepy anyway. Eren's mother's unaware that Mikease has been here overnight. After boarding the boat back home, Dr. Yeager mentions that he has someone looking into the case with Eren. However, what he does need is at least a hint so he knows where to start, so maybe she can tell him who was there. Mikease goes to open her mouth, but thinking back to the promise, she stops herself. She can't tell Eren's father what happened to him. Dr. Yeager goes on to say that he's planning on maybe having Eren stay up in the mountains with her and her family. He's so full of rage, so hopefully they can take him away before it takes him into a dangerous place. It looks like there's something inside of him, something wicked and dangerous. Mikease looks away as she says, a great power, underneath her breath. And Dr. Yeager tells her that she just might be right. Perhaps she might be the only one that can protect Eren from that great power. As the days passed, Dr. Yeager would stop by for his visits, but Eren had stopped coming. So on one of the last visits, Mikease wrote a letter for Dr. Yeager to take back, telling Eren that she's sad that they won't get to meet again. She waited and waited for the day for Dr. Yeager to come, except when he did, Eren still wasn't with him. So she sat in her room looking at the doll that she made of Eren, and she begs to please let her see Eren again. However, over in Mikasa's mother's room, Dr. Yeager mentions to Mikasa's mother that her blood pressure has been rising, so in case of any complications, they should come back with them to the Shinganshina district. They can stay in a home close to theirs for a few days. So, on the next visit 5 days later, Dr. Yeager came to help Mikease and her family move their things to the house that he spoke of. Once the family gets settled in, Mikease runs over to Eren's house, but his mother tells her that Eren has been out playing with Armin all morning and night. She says that she'll let him know that she stopped by though, and Mikease responds telling her that she can sit and wait. A little while later, Hans stops by to give Dr. Yeager some sketches of people who think that they may be the ones that beat up Eren. While Eren is still out, Dr. Yeager sits before Mikease with the sketches, asking if any of them were these men. She once again remains silent, but Dr. Yeager says that he's pretty sure that Eren swore her to be quiet. So if she just nods her head, she wouldn't be telling, right? She quietly looks at the drawing and nods her head. Dr. Yeager folds up the paper, saying that he's sorry for making her feel uncomfortable, but those two men are dead. Mikease asks if they were murdered, and Dr. Yeager tells her no. There was an accident when the garrison approached them. They ran into an oncoming carriage where one man was struck by a horse, and the other had the carriage's load fall on him. Even if Eren started it, what those men did was unforgivable, and they got what they deserved. After finishing up, Mikease heads back to Eren's room to wait, but all she can do is think about those men getting what they deserved. As she sits lost in thought, Eren walks in asking, "What's wrong? You seem all spaced out." Eren takes Mikease outside, and as they walk through the streets, Mikease asks why did he stop coming. He tells her that they disbanded the Survey Corps. They walled off that entrance. So him and Armin have been trying to go to the outside world using what they call an airplane. Mikease asks what is that, and Eren explains that it's a machine that can fly through the air. Armin's parents tried to go outside on it a few years ago, and they failed and ended up dying. The prototype was left behind, though, and Armin already figured out what went wrong. Mikease begins to think back to what Dr. Yeager told her about protecting Eren, and she knows in order to protect him, he would have to give up seeing the outside world. As they continue to walk, Eren tells her that she needs to promise not to tell anyone about the airplane, and she quietly sighs, telling him that she won't. A few days later, she goes to meet Eren, but today he has a present for her. Armin made a container to hold the butterfly in, and he wanted to give it to her. As she looks at it, Eren says that their airplane is complete. They're going to be leaving tonight. Knowing that she can't stop him, Mikease holds the butterfly cage and says that she has something that she's going to ask of him. Please don't die. Eren scratches his head, telling her that they're going to meet again once everything is settled in the outside world. And when they do, he's gonna come back and get her. Mikease tells him okay. But as the wind blows, Eren takes off his scarf and he wraps it around her. He tells her that he's only letting her borrow this. But it's warm, right? Through the muffled wrappings, she tells him it is warm. He starts to walk away and she says to make sure to stay well. And Eren tells her that she should too. So until they meet again. After he left, Mikease went back home to watch for the butterflies, but on the outside world were the sounds of fireworks going off. She looks out the window to see a festival, and as she goes outside, she overhears some people talking about how nice it is that the Survey Corps is finally gone. While everyone celebrates the eternal peace, Mikease thinks how Eren would get mad if he heard them talking like this. She tries to think of Eren, but now she can't remember his face. They parted ways and Eren is leaving her life and she can't remember his face. He's gonna get killed by that great power. She still has time. She needs to see Eren one last time. So she begins to run through the crowd, and as she does, she bumps into someone and she falls to the ground. The man who bumped into her drops his mug, spilling his beer all over her. He shouts at her, and then another man starts to yell at him for being drunk. She tries to get back up, but before she can, a man steps on her hand and kicks her. She reaches out asking, why is everyone getting in her way? She needs to see Eren. But through the crowd, a hand reaches out, grabbing Mikease by the wrist, pulling her up. She looks up to see who it is, and all she can see is her own reflection. The man in the metal mask calls out for everyone to watch and be amazed. He's the great hypnotist, and he shall turn this little girl into a murderer. However, no one on the streets even looks in his direction. Goes on saying that they must all doubt him and his skills, which is natural, but he can do it. He, Mirror Man, will show everyone how he can turn an innocent, sweet little girl into a cold-blooded murderer. Mikease pulls her arm, telling him to please let her go. And Mirror Man asks, where are you going? She tells him that she needs to see her friend. And Mirror Man says that they can't have that. She should hurry along. However, he can't let her go. He needs to hypnotize her first into becoming a murderer. So he has a suggestion. Kill him right now. He could always hypnotize her, but that will take time. So if she wants to hurry, she's gonna have to murder him right now. Brilliant, right? He puts a knife into Mikasa's hand, telling her that the world is an unfair place. The Titans are gobbling up humans, so just go ahead and end it for him. She tries to call it for help, but the Mirror Man says that he'll let her in on a secret. Truth be told, he's sick of it all anyway. Day in, day out, doing the same damn thing, going from festival to festival. It's all so boring and pointless. So why is it tonight that he decided that it will be his greatest hypnotism ever performed? He'll turn an adorable little girl into a murderer in front of a giant crowd? Mirror Man says that she might want to make her decision soon, or she'll never get to meet little Eren again. Through her tears, Mikease asks, who are you? How do you know Eren? And he says that he no one. But at the same time, he could be anyone. So if she doesn't hurry, she's going to live the rest of her life never remembering what Eren even looks like. Mikease stares at the knife, and he continues to go on to tell her that she's free to just stand there. Or she can go on after killing him. What will it be? Mikasa's hand begins to tremble, stating that she wants to meet Eren again. She begins to think about how all she wants to do is see him. Why is the world doing this to her? Her grip begins to tighten on the handle of the knife, and then there's a sudden explosion off in the distance. The rattle shakes through the entire town, and everyone stops to see what's going on. And what they see is Mikease covered in blood, and Mirror Man stabbed. He begins to laugh. And he shouts, has everyone gotten a good look? You've just witnessed this little girl murder someone. He then pulls the knife out, revealing that the blade is retractable, and the blood was just chicken's blood. Mikease stands there petrified, and the Mirror Man bows, telling everyone, you've just witnessed the skills of the great Mirror Man. Everyone claps, and Mikease starts to walk back home, saying that she shouldn't have let him go. Even if everyone hated her, she shouldn't have let Eren go. And as she continues her walk, it begins to rain. Suddenly there are footsteps and a young boy slides up to her. He's crying, and Mikease can already tell that it's Armin, the boy that Eren always talked about. He falls to his knees shouting that it's all their fault. The airplane, it hardly even got off the ground. They should have known that it wasn't going to work. They're just kids. But when the plane went out of control, Eren pushed him out of the way to save him. Eren, he kept going, and he went straight into the wall. Eren died. He died in his place, and there's nothing that he could do. He looked at Mikease and he told her, I'm sorry. Those words begin to sink in, and Mikease wakes up. She sat still, laying across the market sand with rain pouring on her face. And as she realizes where she's at, she hops off, falling to her knees, telling herself she did it again. She lost her family again. This world is so cruel, yet so beautiful. She leans back, saying that it was a good life, and it's time to accept that this is just the way things are. Then a voice inside of her head screams out, fight! Her eyes jolt open, and tears begin to run down her face, and she tells herself that she's sorry for giving up. She can't die now because she wouldn't be able to remember him. So no matter what, she will win. She will live. As she gets up to charge at the oncoming Titan with her broken blade, there's a roar from a Titan behind her. The Titan begins to run forward, punching the oncoming Titan. All the while, Mikease tells herself that she had but one wish, and that was to see Eren one last time. And that wraps up Attack on Titan Lost Girls Volume 2. Now this story is Mikease remembering the past during the segments where Eren became the Attack Titan and began to defend her. So if you didn't remember what happened in part 1, that's why at the ending she was back to being her adult self. I hope you guys enjoyed this, but this does wrap up the Lost Girls series. Don't worry though, we have plenty more Attack on